Let's take a look now at a week's worth of weather with a weekly planner on the Weather Channel. We'll kick back and take a look at the next 7 days and see how the weather of those days can play a role in your outdoor plans. As far as what's happening in the short term, a tornado watch remains in effect. Portions of Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan, meaning you have a risk of severe weather, but a prime risk from tornadoes. Severe thunderstorm watch to parts of Wisconsin, a bit of Illinois, across Iowa, also into portions of Missouri and Nebraska. Severe thunderstorm watch means you may encounter maybe an isolated risk of tornadoes, but the prime threat with these will be from some winds in excess of 59 miles per hour. Also hail like 3/4 of an inch or larger. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings still kind of sprawled out in this region. No tornado warnings as of just a moment ago, but indeed that could change. That's the stormiest spot right now. You can see that line of storms, especially across Iowa, in towards Cedar Rapids next few minutes. A pretty sizable batch of storms about to push through town. Kind of trailing back into a little bit south of Lincoln, Nebraska. A little bit in the way of some storminess still into Kansas. Some cells kind of popping up there. A little drizzle, some light showers off and on around Denver. Otherwise, some rainfall continues across parts of Wisconsin. Few showers, and I do mean just mostly light showers into Florida. But it makes you the chance of an isolated storm, kind of a splash and dash situation kicking up for our afternoon on Tuesday. Let's take a look at the mechanism responsible for the active weather the next few days. Big ridge across the northeast. Well, that will work to keep our temperatures up a bit. Eventually, as this trough starts to swing a bit closer, we'll also swing some wetter weather our way, like, well, namely in toward Wednesday. Think of this trough here as a kind of a mechanism of change. That dip, that bit of physics there, keeps the air here spun counterclockwise. That's at low pressure. Winds are pulled into low pressure in the northern hemisphere in a counterclockwise fashion. So that starts to pull on. It will dampen us a bit in New England. Even New York City and Boston, kind of a heads up. Big ridge means the exact opposite, some tranquil weather, but also some warmth as our warmth gets pulled up a bit. Northwest, this can be a good thing. Now, we may not welcome it toward the weekend if you have outdoor plans. The best part of this is, of course, major rain deficits throughout the west, but the northwest, too, will at least see a chance of a little bit of wet relief on toward the weekend. Let's begin. Here's our day on Tuesday. A few problem spots might see some active weather. Toledo, even on toward Detroit, in toward Indy. Also back into parts of Missouri again, even Kansas City, in toward Kansas, also into parts of Oklahoma, kind of along that slow-moving front, that kind of a focusing mechanism for the stormy weather. And that's going to be the worst of it. Now, some wet weather kicks our way in the northeast by Wednesday. Rainfall coming into parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. Still wet toward Indy, St. Louis, Kansas City. Scatterstorms across the southern U.S. As far as the rainfall potential, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, on toward New York City, Boston, Hartford, and Providence, even many areas like toward Martha's Vineyard, you could see some rain as well. Notice, though, by afternoon, we could see some of the rain in the northwest. Some may linger into Friday, too. Eastern seaboard, looking at the rainfall, here's the catch. Leaving out Friday, heading toward the Hamptons or toward the Cape, Nantucket, or the Vineyard, too. We're looking at just a few lingering showers into Saturday, but may see a halfway decent day for most of us in the northeast on Saturday. Scatterstorms across the Southland, some into Texas, too. Northwest wet, but wet along the mid-Atlantic, and some rainfall possible into Sunday. Also some rainfall toward Philly and D.C. and Baltimore, even toward Atlanta, and toward Monday, but a few showers hang on for the northwest. Let's look at those temperatures. Remember, I mentioned how the temperatures kind of move up a bit, with that trough kind of wiggling through the Midwest, cooling it off, but pumping up the warmth of our ridge across the west. That will be the deal right into the weekend. We'll take a few days to cool things off just a smidgen in the southwest. Quick look at the overnight lows. Same progression, milder starts to our days across the west. Eventually some slightly cooler air in the Midwest for a day, then that too begins to moderate. Up next, active details on the stormy weather. Stay tuned.